I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Cheeky Lemon. Hi.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Cheeky Lemon. I stream mostly on Twitch. I am a variety streaming VTuber. My model is a lemon lion, and I am currently trying to re-debut. I am working on a lot of things and trying to juggle all of it, but I am super excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming on. When did you get started with the VTubing thing?
I started... I was never a face cam streamer. I started right in with VTubing, and that happened last March 2023.
Oh, so you've been at it for what's about 17 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's good. And you've been able to keep going without any big breaks?
Well, no. Do you want me to talk about that, or
if you want to talk about it, anything that you're comfortable with?
So my first year of VTubing went great, and then this year 2024 has just been one holdup after another, and like I got super sick, or like I was having computer issues for a while. So I've had a couple of hiatuses here and there just for things that are kind of out of my control.
Right.
But I'm not deterred, and I keep coming back to it because I love doing this.
That's cool. So why I mean, were you a fan of VTubers before you started, or was it just something you want to give a shot to?
That's the funny thing, is I didn't really even watch streams before I became a VTuber. So I had to learn a lot about the etiquette of like streaming and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to do it because some of my friends started doing it, and I wanted to kind of hang out with them more.
Right.
And I felt like, oh, if I get into this space that they're spending a lot of time in, that'll help us be closer together, because then we can like do more stuff together. And then unfortunately, a lot of the original people that I was doing that for, we kind of drifted. And so it's like, oh, so it's a good thing that I ended up loving it, because otherwise I probably would have given it up.
Well, I mean, did you find other people to hang out with fairly quickly?
Oh my goodness. It's so amazing how inconsequentially you make certain connections, and then those people just like stay with you forever, because that's been happening a lot. And it's one of the joys of VTubing for me, I think, is the people you meet in the process.
Oh yeah, and everywhere, and not just people that you meet on the street, but people that you talk to on the other side of the planet.
Exactly. It's so crazy to me how much more globally minded I am now, just because I literally have friends on like every continent.
Oh yeah, it is. It's something I never thought about that before, but really, it kind of does expand people's minds, because if you know somebody in, say, the Philippines, they just got hit with a terrible typhoon here recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're actually kind of investing yourself into that particular area of the world that maybe you didn't know anything about before.
Absolutely.
That's a really good insight to that. I hadn't thought about that. But once you got started, did you know what you wanted to do, or was it strictly to hang out with everybody else, and it kind of turned into what you're doing now?
So I had two sub goals for, not like subscriber goals, but like
right
below hanging out with people goals for becoming a streamer. One of them was that I just really liked the idea of VTubing and having this original character that I could kind of build lore for and create content around.
Yeah.
And I've always been a creative like that. So I'm like, oh, yay, stuff to play with. So that's been, even when I wasn't able to be streaming because of like computer issues or things like that, I could be playing with this concept that I was having a lot of fun with. So I'm loving that. And the other thing was I was never like a big gamer. Like I was always player 2. Right. I have multiple siblings, and I was always like you only have one controller and only one person can play at a time.
Yeah.
I was always watching. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try being the gamer this time and I'll actually play some games. That has been very fun, I have to say. I didn't know how that one was going to go, but I'm a gamer now. I'll say that like confidently. Yeah, I'm a gamer, 100%.
So you mentioned that you kind of got into the character things before. Were you an actor before?
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
Did you do a thing on stage before you were doing this? Were you a performer?
Um, Not in so many words.
Hmm.
I was a cosplayer. That was my
Oh,
main form of content creation before VTubing.
oh well, that's
That
that.
has sadly gone to the wayside
Oh,
because now I could just cosplay through my character,
well,
and it's
that's
kind of
true. It's
taken away some of the IRL.
yeah. It also is slightly less expensive.
Exactly, because I can make outfits digitally that don't
Yeah,
cost me anything.
yeah. So you were already into the cosplay scene, and interesting to
Yes.
see how many people have crossed from one to the other, or still do both at the same time. You ever feel that pull to try it again?
Um, Absolutely. A lot of the IRL stuff that's going on with me has required my attention to be focused
Mm,
um inward in my situations in life. So like I don't have the time or the availability to make the stuff I want or
mm-hmm,
go out to these places I would like to continue visiting, different conventions and things like that.
mm-hmm.
Um so I'd love to get back to that kind of stuff. And one of my motivations for doing it is I want to cosplay other VTubers because you see that happening at different conventions, and I would
Yes,
love to do that.
yes, yes. That is happening a lot now. I like. I think that's great. It kind of feeds back into the community as a whole when you're able to do that. And people say,
Yeah,
who are you? Well, I'm so and so. Well, and they find out who that is, and it gets good advertising. So that
yeah.
is a nice little side benefit to something like that.
And
But
I like thinking of it like it's another form of fan art.
yeah,
Like, oh, I really like this person. Let me cosplay them. And then that's like, I did this art for you.
yeah, that is cool. That is cool. Now, did you design your model? Did you have somebody else do it? Did you pick up an online model and use that? What'd you do with it?
My model, I like to say that my model is my Barbie.
Mm,
And it's my idea, but I use a lot of pre-made assets that I do find online,
hmm.
and then I customize them as long as the artist gives permission to do that kind of stuff. I customize it to fit the vibes I'm going for with my character.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit of both.
So you have everything that's on Cheeky Lemon was designed by you.
No.
Mm,
So the idea of the character is my design, kind of
yeah.
her personality,
Hmm.
and then the outward extension of that, the visual, I am limited on because of my lack of skill set for designing my own things.
Mm,
So that's one of the things I'm working on the side. The VTuber to artist pipeline is very real,
right.
and I'm kind of learning a little bit more, and my skill set's growing. So I keep telling people that through each iteration of my model, for instance, I am trying to re-debut, I have a new version of her now. I'm getting closer to the design that is mine, but I'm not there yet. So I'm like, oh, this feels really good for like what I'm trying to get to, but I don't have the skill set to do it. So I'm using something that's close, but not exactly what I want.
So it's still a work in progress.
Yeah. If I
Yeah.
was made of money, I would definitely commission a lot of people to get some character designs, get some art made professionally. 100%. I am not made of money, so
This sounds like a something that was made for you, but you didn't know it when you started.
what do you mean?
The VTubing in general, because
Oh,
because of how much it's become something you enjoy and something that you're putting the time and effort into. For someone who just kind of joined it to join your friends in doing it, suddenly it's such a big part of your life.
it's like the perfect hobby because there's so many different aspects that are VTubing adjacent that you can explore. So if like the art side of VTubing is not your thing, you're like I'm stick figures and that's where I'm capping. If that's not your thing, there's like the V singing, and if you have a really nice voice and you want to play with that community, or if you are really good with video edits and you want to explore that, or if you are good at making assets, so not necessarily drawing, but you can make good overlays and schedules and stuff like that. There's so many different things to explore, and I've kind of been dipping my toes in everything and trying to figure out what it is that I like to do.
Yeah. Well, you've got a great voice for it.
Thank you.
What are you going to do with it? Are you going to try to do some voice acting type stuff? Maybe
my goodness.
Maybe a song or two.
I'm trying I'm probably up to my knees now in the V singing sphere, because I would love to do that. One of the first things that I did that was kind of like a bigger event on my channel was I did a ukulele concert, because I do play the ukulele. I have a bit of a singer-songwriter background. I've written 9 songs. I have a 10th one that I would like to have produced more professionally. So that one is in the back of my pocket for when I figure some of that out. But there's a lot of jargoned hurdles, I like to refer to it as, when you're trying to sneak into these other spaces where it's like you don't know what you don't know. So I want to do that kind of stuff, but I'm feeling the limits of like I feel like I need to know more people in that sphere so that I can actually figure out how to do some of that stuff. So I've released some like unprofessional covers, not unprofessional like they're inappropriate, but like they don't have the quality that I want to be making them at.
Yeah.
But that is definitely a direction I'm pursuing content-wise. And then the voice acting would be just if I ever get the opportunity. Yeah. I actually do see casting calls from time to time go by on my Twitter feed, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I should do that. But I just haven't been able to put as much energy in that direction as I would like, and I really need to make a demo reel to be able to start pursuing that.
Absolutely, I think you should. I think you've got a great projection to your voice immediately, and the sound is, you've got a great instrument there, and I hope you're able to use it as much as you would like to, because it would be really fun to hear you do some of this stuff.
It is encouraging to see that so many other VTubers have been successful going down that route as well.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and the technology has gotten to the point where you don't have to leave your house.
Exactly, yeah.
And another thing about this VTubing is that people who are not exactly social butterflies can meet people and show their talents without having to have that uncomfortable feeling of looking at people's eyes.
Yep, it's incredibly accessible, and it removes the barrier of judging a book by its cover, because you get to decide what the cover looks like.
Yeah. But did you ever get up on stage as a kid?
I was not ever drawn to the spotlight in that way. I've always been like I said, I've always been like this huge fan and supporter of all the cool things my friends are doing. So I'm still trying to get into the rhythms of like, oh, I'm center stage and I'm I'm the Oshi. Okay. But no, I was never really an on the stage person. I did some stuff here or there, but it wasn't like I was driven to it and that was like the thing I wanted to do and I needed to be in the spotlight. I've always been like a member of like an acting troupe or like a music choir or things like that.
Well, I mean, it shows that you were more interested in getting the quality there. You wanted to contribute. You just didn't have to be in the main spotlight.
Yeah, I'm very team player mentality. So it's interesting to me how I see a lot of content creators trying to be able to put their name on more and more things. Like, I did this entirely by myself. This was all mine. I don't feel that drive. So I'm very comfortable saying like, oh yeah, most of my model is stuff I haven't made myself. Like I like that actually, because I feel like it's recognizing that other people are more skilled in those niches and I don't have to be able to do everything. I'm the personality. And if my whole brand is showcasing other people's talents. I love that, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is great. It is great to show, to kind of, even if you're not really giving them that much of a quote unquote rub, or they're already there, but but to showcase what other people can do is a great ability to have, and to bring out to the public their stories and such. One of the reasons why I really like doing these interviews is that we got 200 plus people now who've shared their stories with everybody, and people get to know them a little bit more, and they get to, maybe sometimes they find out a little bit about themselves in the process, which is kind of hilarious sometimes. Is there something that you found out about yourself during this year and a half of VTubing that you didn't know about?
That is a good question.
Well, while Cheeky Lemon is ruminating on that, let's take a message from our sponsor. We don't have one. Now back.
Okay. Something I learned about myself that I wasn't expecting. It's interesting because I feel like I've posed this question in a different format to my community. Like, do you feel like there's anything that I do that is kind of off brand, that is just kind of like not cohesive with who I seem to be otherwise?
Right.
And they really, like, I don't feel like I have an answer to that. I do feel like one of the things that I'm exploring more and more is like how much I can push myself. So I feel like this is something that a lot of streamers go through. Like, oh my goodness, that first 12-hour stream, it's going to be so much. I don't know if I can do it. Or like for like incentives for, subathons and things like that. Like, oh no, they redeemed that. Now I actually have to go through. Help. Like, how do you guys stream that long? I felt like I was going to be that way when I first started streaming, and like a 2-hour stream felt so long. But now I'm like accidentally streaming 8 hours, and it's a little how did that happen? So that's surprising to me that I have that kind of a stamina. And I hear people talk about how, you got to take care of yourself because streaming is really draining. And, that's a lot of time you spent, talking to a chat and being a personality, and, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself after. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird that I don't resonate with that at all, because streaming kind of energizes me. And then I can't stream too close to bed, or I can't go to sleep because I'm energized. So that's really interesting to me. I didn't think that would be something that I would resonate with.
You kind of end up bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, like I get like the longer my stream goes, the more like hyper I am. It's like, this is great. We're cruising. This is so good.
Well, there's something different too about being on and going that length of time and scheduling yourself to do it, because you don't have a finish line when you're on by yourself, and you don't have any set time to go, and you can just keep talking and keep going and lose track of time. When you know exactly when you're supposed to end, that makes a big difference. And you start looking for the finish line about halfway through, whether you're enjoying it or not, and you have kind of something hanging over your head the whole time. I think that does make a big difference. It used to be for me in radio anyway, when I had something like that. Oh, I really hope I can play enough songs to get through the next hour.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it's filling up the time versus enjoying the time and not wanting to stop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it does make a big difference in how you enjoy it and how everybody else enjoys it too. And so it occurs, I guess the word is organically.
Yeah.
And it
makes me wonder sometimes if I'm doing things quote unquote wrong, because it's like, I really don't relate to what you guys are saying is a very relatable thing for other streamers. Does that mean that I'm missing something here?
Should I feel bad for
doing
this?
something wrong?
Should I feel bad for enjoying this?
Yeah. Or should I feel more stressed about like how I'm going to fill the time? I don't know.
Yeah,
I was just gonna play my game and talk. Am I
yeah.
supposed to be doing something else? What am I missing?
Well, it sounds like you're not missing a thing. Sounds like you're making your own way and you're enjoying yourself, and that's the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to be going on. But what games are you playing when you're online?
Um, I play a lot of different games. I used to have this series that I was doing that I really, really enjoyed. Because again, it goes back to how I love showcasing like other people's talents.
Hmm.
I had this random game series. I liked trying out indie games. And I
Mm,
would play a different one every stream and we'd be like, oh, do we like this? And I give it a little rating out of 10 lemons. Be
hmm,
like, oh, this was like an 8 out of 10 lemons.
mm,
And I still have that posted in my Twitch about section on my little ratings for the games.
right,
And I want to get back to doing that series. There's no real game that my channel is like dedicated to. I haven't really niched like that.
right.
One of the games that I've been playing for a long time, just because my community really enjoyed it, is Crosscode. I love Crosscode. I still actually haven't finished it yet. It's kind of a running joke that just like it'll always be hovering over my head, and we're never going to finish Crosscode.
So
But that's what I keep going back to.
that's one I haven't heard of.
Crosscode.
What is Crosscode about?
It is an RPG, an
Huh?
action RPG, um, MMO esque kind of a game.
Right.
It's supposed to replicate the feeling that you're playing with other people because it's like a game within a game.
Hmm.
You're playing this MMO, but there's no one actually playing with you. Like it's just a single player game.
Mm-hmm.
But it still has all of like you can do your skill trees and your classes and all that kind of stuff. And then it's very story driven. It's a very story driven game, which I really like as MMO esque games because I feel like that's kind of hit or miss. Like
Mm-mm.
if you can get a really good story going in a game.
Yeah, if you have one of those with a lousy story, you're just not going to want to finish it.
That's something too, though, that I feel like is almost risky because I've been thinking a lot about like what kinds of games are the best kinds of games to play for streams,
Mhm.
and I feel like some of these like heavily story driven games are kind of risky sometimes because people jump in the middle and they don't know what's going on. They're like, oh, maybe I don't want to stay for this. Like I
Right,
don't know what's happening.
right.
So I've really tried to make the content of my streams more me and make it so that people want to come hang out with me sans what we're doing
Right.
because of stuff like that where it's
Yeah.
like I don't want to make it so that the game is the draw and then like people who feel out of sync don't want to be here.
Yeah, I think you'll find that already is the case because I kind of compare it to the old radio DJs a little bit because you could go to any radio station and in the past and hear a particular song, but you went back to the radio station because of the personality of the guy who was playing it or the woman who was
Mm,
playing it. I think that VTubers are getting into this category as well, where say, well, I just thought Honkai Star Rail for an instant.
yep.
I mean, how many people can you see playing that at one time on Twitch? 7 million. I
Right.
mean, a lot
Yeah.
of people, but people go back to the people playing it. Whether it's like yourself, you say you play all sorts of different games. They're not coming back necessarily for the games. Maybe they like the format, but they're coming back because you're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's all on you. I'm putting all the pressure directly on you.
Which is fine by me. I like that better actually. Because then I don't have to worry about like, oh no, I'm playing a game people don't like. Because that's the one thing that grates me a little bit is when I feel like I'm 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 cornered and I'm forced to make a certain kind of content. That's the
Mm,
part of streaming I don't like. It's like, oh, I really want to play this one game, but nobody wants to see me play it.
mm,
Well, but I want to play it. You know what I mean?
right.
So I feel like I'm really just trying to make the content I enjoy
Mhm.
and kind of hoping
Yeah.
that me enjoying it and being fun to be around is why people are coming to my channel.
Yeah. 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 Now, with the new debut coming up, re-debut coming up, when
Yep.
when is that on the calendar? Do you have a set date for it?
We have no idea. I actually had it scheduled for this past April because I wanted to re-debut kind of around when my first debut happened, have
Hmm.
it be like an anniversary re-debut.
Hmm.
And it's weird how I was like very close to having that happen, but then so many things happened, and I
Mm.
got really sick, and I had there's construction in my building, and
Oh.
all of a sudden my streams weren't working, and it was like, oh my goodness. And now that I've kind of delayed it, I'm trying to really take the time and, like I said, not feel like I'm being cornered into like putting out something just to have it be out there.
Right.
And I want to make it the way I want to make it, because at the end of the day, it's me that's doing it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm trying to take my time and put effort into setting those things up in a way that's not taking away from my streaming. Because before it was like, well, I feel like I need to go on a hiatus so that I can kind of set some of that stuff up, because I only have so much time in the day and I'm either working on my re-debut or I'm streaming. So what do you guys want? They're like, oh no, please stream. We don't need you to re-debut. just stream. So now I'm trying to do both, and it's making it so that keeps getting pushed out. But I'm okay, pushed further out, I should say. But I'm okay with that, because when I don't think anyone's really super waiting for it. It's just kind of me. And when it happens, it's going to be so good.
So what are you have beyond the re-debut? What are your big goals for the channel? Have you got some littler goals, I know, but what do you want to be with this channel?
So I really want to get more in touch with a little bit of activism on my channel. It's something that none of my community can avoid on my Twitter, because I do the thing that you're not supposed to do, and I get I don't get involved with drama, but I like talk about it. Like I like react to it. I'm like, So I'm trying to long term, I want to align my channel more with activism, not in the sense of like some of the VTubers who like relay the current drama, the current VTuber news. None of that. My lore is very like tied to science and Earth and stuff like that. And I would really love for my channel, like I'm encouraging more like thoughtful usage of resources, or like I have links to these different places where you can learn about different things or stuff like that.
Right.
I really just want to be a platform that sends other people to places where they can arm themselves with what they need to be able to be more aware of the choices they make in everyday life, particularly with how it affects the environment, is kind of where I want to go long term. I'm really excited to do more of that. And then I have this other goal that I've really been thinking about a lot, especially with my re-debut, because I feel like my re-debut will be the point where I can kind of pivot my content if I want to. And there is something that I'm thinking about doing that has to do with showcasing other people's talents, but I don't want to talk about it too much because I haven't really figured out the details of that yet. But I'm really excited about it because I want to make it into a series.
It's a cliffhanger, folks.
Yes, I was leaving a cliffhanger.
Well, I think that you've got a tremendous attitude for it, and I think that you're going to be able to do it exactly what you want with your channel. And
I hope so.
And I really do appreciate you coming on, because it's always great to talk to somebody who's got such a motivation and enjoys themselves so much. Obviously, you do. You can hear it in your voice. Thank
you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, and we'll get you back again. I get the once your re-debut gets done in September, October, November, whenever you decide to do it. when it does come up, well, and then let me know. We'll do an update for everybody, and the
triumphant follow up.
The triumphant follow up, and so thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.